Hello and welcome to this edition of the Potomac Local Podcast. I'm Uriah Kaiser. Joining me today is Ross Snare. He is the Legislative Director for the Prince William Chamber of Commerce. Ross, thanks for coming on today. We've got a few things to talk about, right? Because though we may be in sort of the summer doldrums of August, that doesn't mean you're not already looking ahead to what's coming down the pike this fall, and then, of course, into the new year when the General Assembly goes back into session in January. So one of the things that we always like to talk about here at Potomac Local, because it's on everyone's mind, is transportation, right? And so Prince William County, now they're looking forward to putting a number of transportation projects on a bond referendum, putting that to voters and seeing if the voters will essentially pass to essentially borrow money to raise money to fund projects, I should say, like improving Route 28, a new overpass, sort of a single lane overpass at Route 123, and Old Bridge Road in Lake Ridge near Occoquan. We're also talking about an overpass at the very congested Minnieville Road and Prince William Parkway in Woodbridge. These are big projects, right? Where does the chamber come? Where does the chamber stand on this?
So to give you a little background on it, what we did at the chamber about 18 months ago or so was we had just come off of a good victory on the technology tax defeat that the Board of County Supervisors had proposed. And we wanted to come out and be support something, not just be against something all the time. And one of the concepts that we came up with was, everybody supports transportation improvements. We all are up here in Northern Virginia. We get that, transportation is a huge issue. So we came up with this idea of floating a bond referendum for the Board of County Supervisors to consider because, VDOT doesn't have the money to fund things. MVTA really doesn't have that many funds. So it was trying to figuring out where we could get the money from, and the county hadn't done a road bond since 2006. So we floated the idea to a couple supervisors. In some meetings we use a number $billion referendum, something along those lines, and it kind of caught steam, and it's evolved over time. And I gotta say, I think this is a fantastic idea. The Prince William Chamber of Commerce officially hasn't come out and endorsed these projects yet, but they're all very good projects. I mean, this is the only opportunity you're going to see where Route 28 can get fixed. And I think, just looking at it, there's no real way that Route 28 can get fixed without this bond referendum. The MVTA, Northern Virginia Transportation Authority, has already put in $100 million towards this project. We need to come up with that other chunk of money, and if we don't do it, it'll be off the map forever, and we're just going to be stuck with a bottleneck there.
And so what we're talking about here is Route 28, right? And
yes,
and so as it affects commuters from the city of Manassas to the Fairfax County line up through Yorkshire, and the plan has long been there's been sort of two alternatives that have been seriously looked at. One is widening the current stretch of road from I believe it's 4 lanes to 6 lanes. That would be the most expensive of option because the state would have to acquire a lot of land there. That's not a rural area. There's a lot of businesses that front Route 28, businesses, homes, and what have you. So that's been described as the most expensive option. The second option being a bypass, and that would be a new road that would be constructed. If you think about over where Novant Prince William Medical Center is, where Godwin Drive meets Sudley Road, Godwin would essentially be extended through what now is undeveloped land. It would be extended essentially through 2 neighborhoods, and it would then connect with Route 28 at the Fairfax County line. And this one project, we've heard Marty Noe, who's on the Board of Supervisors, advocate for this project. He says he's called it the one thing he knows will get done. He said we are going to do something about 28. We've seen candidates who are currently running for John Gray, who's running for chairman of the Prince William County Board of Supervisors. He's consistently putting stuff on social media about Route 28. And so what do you make of this? Is this a sort of an unusual or sort of a Goldilocks time for transportation projects in Prince William County? For years, we've seen nothing but gridlock and people complain. And now are we seeing an opportunity for there finally to be some fixes?
I think we are. I think we're seeing a definite opportunity for there to be fixes. And like you said, it's that now or never moment that we really are in, where the funding for this won't be there if this bond referendum doesn't pass. There's no way that funding will be there. I mean, it's the terms of how NVTA, the makeup will be and where they're putting the money. We've kind of gotten our lion's share of a lot of these transportation fundings, and we're going to start seeing where that money is going to benefit us. But I mean, it's now or never really with this. It's perfect. I mean, in a world where we're all divided on political lines of left, right, red, blue, that kind of thing, this is something that you've kind of seen a lot of people at the local level and state level here in Prince William County, Manassas Park, come out and be like, this is actually a really good thing, and this is the only opportunity for us to get this fixed.
When you hear from businesses who complain about traffic, how does the congestion affect them? Right, because we sometimes forget that 64% of residents in Prince William County commute outside of the county to go to their job, right? Whether they're a federal contractor or they work somewhere else further north near D.C. or Northern Virginia or Maryland. But there is also, and they're members of your Chamber of Commerce who actually do business within the county. And when you talk to them and you talk about transportation problems, what solutions do they want?
I think that what all-encompassing, it's multimodal. It's doing, it's the buses service. It's what we're seeing with I-66 and I-95. Those partnerships there, they're really just improving those two thoroughfares.
Where we're adding toll lanes to I-66 and extending toll lanes on 95 to Fredericksburg.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if that's where we have to move people, I guess that's the way we have to move people, unfortunately. But it works. You're saving time. And I use the example. I was talking to a person who owns a business in Stafford. They're a chamber member, and they occasionally go up to DC and they have to go back. No one likes to spend the money. Let's put that first. No one likes to spend it, but you're saving hours. And I mean, as we all know, in terms of hours and time and money and business, the longer you're on the road, the less productive you are in your office making money. You're stuck in traffic. And I think more people would rather, be at their office, get the job done, and head back home than be stuck in traffic for all this amount of time.
So it seems like if we can get the commuters who are going to their jobs in D.C., in Maryland, in Arlington and Loudoun, if we can get them out of the way, then the people who need to deliver products or services who do business within Prince William County or outside of the DC, then they can move more freely and deliver on time.
And so it's funny you bring that up because it's like you said, 60% of Prince William County goes out. I mean, Manassas is one of those weird places up here where people are actually coming in. They're a net importer of workers. But what we have the opportunity to, and what we do at the Chamber, is try to educate our membership, educate the community. I mean, we brought in the GSA a couple years ago. I mean, a couple years ago and then a couple months ago as well. And they brought up the point that there are waivers. We can have these, major agencies, departments, things like that, relocate out here down the road, which will bring more jobs in as well. You mean government contractors, things along those lines, because we have billions of dollars in roads that aren't being used in the morning coming westbound or southbound. Everybody else is going north or east. So it's a good opportunity, and it's working with, government agencies. The Chamber plays a vital role in bringing people together, and that's what we need to be doing.
When we talk about bringing jobs to the region, to Prince William County, south of the Beltway, this may be a nice segue into something else I want to talk to you about, and career and technical education. So a year ago, I reported on a Board of Supervisors meeting where there was some talk about, well, what can we do to get more jobs here to the county, right? And for a long time, the narrative has been, well, if we can just get Metro, then we can get a federal agency to locate here, because that seems to be a requirement of like the FBI relocation. They wanted to be near Metro. So Springfield was an option. Prince George's County in Maryland was an option. Because there is no Metro station in Prince William County further south than Springfield, it seemed to be out of that game and quickly. But looking at, if you talk to guys like Marty Noe on the MVTA and on the Board of Supervisors, he'll tell you that Metro is a long way out, a long time away from Prince William County, if ever. Yeah. And so there was some discussion, well, what if the county stops I guess, courting white collar jobs, and think, and what if it were to sort of pivot, and how can it become sort of a magnet for blue collar jobs, or people who actually make things and produce things and manufacture things. And there is this big push now, especially in the schools, everyone I seem to talk to, CTE, career and technical education. Where does the chamber stand on these types of new educational opportunities that are showing kids how to make stuff?
We love it. It's creating the workforce of tomorrow. I mean, we love the fact that our 3 school systems here in the Prince William region are really going out and supporting CTE programs. It's something that we definitely support as well. I was in a meeting the other day with Debbie Jones, our president and CEO, with a shipping company here in Prince William County. People don't really think of, Prince William County being a good shipping center kind of thing, but it's one of these big food distributors. They need, CDLs. They need commercial driver licenses. I was floored to find out that these jobs pay over $100,000 a year. And then they have apprentice programs. They're getting people trained and ready to go for this. It's same thing with, the Microns here, that $3 billion expansion that we had in the city of Manassas. These are all great jobs. They're not jobs you need to go get 4-year degrees for. And I think that I'm happy at the fact that we are no longer really, pushing these 4-year degrees on people and, getting people in these massive amounts of debt. And we're pushing these young children, the future of our area, of the country, to really get jobs that'll benefit them and make more sense for them and where they're going to be in life. And that's something that the chamber supports.
What type of relationships are going to be necessary to make this work? Because you have the school system, Prince William County Schools, 92,000 students. It's a huge school system. And then you have, I guess, a need to work with businesses, right? To teach the students how to do things that an English teacher or a science teacher that traditionally doesn't do. And so as we look out across the next 10 years, what type of relationships do you think will need to be in place to get CTE fully developed?
I think to get CTE fully developed, Governor Northam and his administration have really pushed this workforce development. They have a workforce advisor right now that I believe is either as of July 1st or will be soon a cabinet level position to really get our workforce ready for 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And the relationships we need are the people in the General Assembly and the local level. It's people coming together. It's people understanding that this is how we really get things done and educate them on these jobs will help make our area a great place to live, work, play, and do business. It's bringing everybody together. It's the state delegates, your state senators. It's all 3 levels of government, really. Just getting them all to understand that these programs are important. Let's come together. Let's have a conversation. Let's get the funding in place for them. On the private side of it, I know that there are companies out there who they hire interns all the time to train them. It is easier for them to bring somebody in at the high school level or the college level, educate them and let them grow and get used to that position, know their role, and then bring them on right afterwards. I was talking to somebody the other day whose son is making $20, $25 an hour working at Micron this summer because he has that engineering degree, and it's preparing them, it's getting them ready for that, and you're seeing that all across the Northern Virginia region, really.
Let me ask you one final question before we go. Looking at the landscape of business in Prince William County and in our region right now, what's the one thing that really excites you?
Oh, I think everything excites me, honestly. I know that's a generic answer, but I have the pleasure of being able to drive all over Prince William County, Manassas Park, and you see the excitement going on. You drive over here into the center part of the county near Manassas, and you see, the cranes from Micron, the cranes for the data centers. It's the George Mason expansion is going to be huge. I believe that it's out there now that Mason is going to go from 1,500 students today to 5,000 students in the next 5 years.
Massive expansion there.
It's an expansion. It's huge. It's going to be a game changer for the region. Another game changer is Mason's considering doing their School of Medicine. That would be located here in Prince William County. It's just huge, and it's just seeing the excitement. It's seeing everybody come together. It's the improvements to our transportation, VRE, OmniRide, I-66, I-95. It's literally everything is coming together, and the next couple of years are just going to be we're not going to recognize Prince William County, Manassas Park.
It's the place where I grew up, and I won't recognize it anymore.
We're not going to be able to recognize it for the better. That's the way to properly say it. It's going to be great. I mean, all the stuff that we just see going on and the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. I mean, the airport is another example of just, you see Aurora Flight Sciences there. Leidos is based there. It's who knows what else is going to come. So we just have a plethora of opportunities here.
And I think I think it's fair to say. I mean, we've talked. We always talk about innovation, right? Innovation Park, George Mason. That's where a lot of the development over the years has been. But now, actually, Eastern Prince William County is now getting in. Yes. On some new development. We just 2 weeks ago we had the announcement, the groundbreaking for a new 5-story Kaiser Permanente medical hub. Right,
you're just going to see. It is such an exciting time here because you're going to see more and more of those kind of announcements coming in. It's businesses want to locate here. People want to be here. I mean, I forgot to mention. I mean, Amazon too. We're going to see some stuff coming from that. The data center industry. I mean, we are. Based on the conversations I've had with industry experts, Prince William County could be larger than Loudoun County in terms of data centers and that income that we're going to be able to produce. I mean, the income is a whole topic for another show sometime. But the stats I got from Loudoun County, where I think the data center industry, based on the revenue that they make, saves the average homeowner in Loudoun County $2,000 in services. So I mean, that if we're going to be larger than that, I just want people to imagine the services that we're going to be able to provide here in the region because of that money that we're saving the taxpayers.
Data centers and Micron, all topics for another show of Micron, of course.
Yes, it is.
It's in the city of Manassas, but it actually is the state's largest economic development project ever. It's bigger than at $3 billion. It's actually bigger than the $2.5 billion Amazon deal that was made in Arlington. But again, as you said, and I'll second that. That's a whole nother show.
That's a topic for another show. But again, I do want to give kudos out to Patrick Small, Nicole Smith, Mayor Hal Parrish, and the City Council, Pat Pate from the City of Manassas as well. That was a huge get for us and the region as a whole. I mean, we're at this point where I don't think we are no longer really rivals and fighting each other on things. I think we're all realizing what's good for one is good for all. And let's really start pushing this, community first message. And that's where I'm really excited about is I look across the board of the people running for office, and regardless of party, you're typically seeing people aligned on getting the community to this one great spot. They have very different paths on how to get there, but they all want to be in that one good spot.
Ross Snare is the Legislative Director for the Prince William Chamber of Commerce. Ross, thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.